Shabbat Shalom. Okay, I'll admit it. I'm a terrible millennial. I don't like avocado toast. I'm allergic to avocado, so I have a reason. I buy paper napkins and cereal, which are industries we apparently are killing, but I like those things. And I don't use all forms of social media. I use it, I've been using it since I was a kid, but I don't use all of them. Like Twitter, for example. I don't have Twitter, which honestly I think is probably for the best mental health-wise. Though, it means when I see a tweet, it's usually because it's secondhand. Somebody has sent me a picture. Recently, very recently, a friend sent me a photo of a tweet. And I looked just at the text of it first, and I saw that it said, "I'm a bit sleepy tonight, but when I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people." All caps, Jewish people. And my first thought was, wow, this guy's dumb. It's not DEFCON 3, it's DEFCON 3. Like, ugh. My first instinct was, ugh, anti-Semites, whatever. But then I saw who tweeted it. Kanye West, the artist formerly known as Kanye West. And my mild irritation turned to dread. My next thought was, oh no, get this spotlight off of us, get it off, get it off. Being a Jew anywhere other than Israel means you're standing alone in the crowd. Even with skin like mine, you know you're different. And more importantly, they know you're different. Being a Jew means standing alone, and because there's safety in numbers, when your numbers are so few, you want as little negative attention as possible. And when one of the biggest music artists in the world, whose every move makes headlines, who has 31.4 million followers on Twitter, tweets something about you, it's more than just annoying. It's dangerous to say, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. To say, you guys have toyed with me and tried to blackball anyone who opposes your agenda. We've crossed a line from an eye roll to a looking over your shoulder. Because now we have to be on the lookout. Well, we have to be on the lookout more, since as a people who are perpetually picked on, as we are, and worse, aren't we kind of always waiting for the other shoe to drop? Kanye West, say what you want about the guy, he's not a stupid man. He knew that his threat and his accusation were going to be called out for being anti-Semitic. Because in the same tweet, he said, the funny thing is, I'm quoting him, this is verbatim, the funny thing is I actually can't be anti-Semitic because black people are Jew also. Which, okay, there's a lot going on there. Clearly, he knew he was going to immediately be labeled an anti-Semite. So he decided to do a little educating and a little blaming. Guys, he can't be anti-Semitic because he's black. Again, in fairness to Kanye, all the anti-Semitism I ever faced growing up in the sticks in the middle of nowhere in Maryland, all that static I ever dealt with, it came from non-black people, in fairness. That being said, the real beauty of anti-Semitism is that anyone can practice it. Any color, creed, race, religion, nationality. Anti-Semitism is a great unifier because everybody can do it, and they do. Kanye may have been referencing a belief held by some in the black Hebrew Israelite community. Now, that's not the same as the black Hebrews or the black Israelites, and it's definitely not the same thing as Jews who are black. But it's its own movement here in America, the black Hebrew Israelites. And not even all of them think this, but some believe that they, and not Jews of Ashkenazi or even Sephardi or Mizrahi descent, that they are the real Jews, and that all of us stole Judaism from them. So when he said this, black people are Jew also, he might have been referring to that, which is actually really dangerous as well. This particular subsection of the black Hebrew Israelite movement, they're very aggressive in their ideology. Per the ADL, they campaign on social media, they proselytize in the street. They have been linked to some violence, criminal activity, but they've never gotten physically violent on this particular issue yet. However, it's a match to a flame situation where spreading incendiary propaganda could galvanize just the right person who might take it into their head that it is they and only they who can right these perceived and completely ahistorical wrongs. and crossed the line from angry to violent against the Jews. And that's the crux of the issue, right? Kanye West, with a platform of millions and millions, he has access to more people than I ever will. And if he says, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people, you guys oppress anyone who disagrees with your agenda, the very special disgruntled person might hear that and take it into their head that it's up to them to put things right. And then we have another headline of a synagogue held hostage, or a JCC shut up, or Orthodox Jews attacked in the street in New York, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is exhausting and frightening for us. Now, it's very well known, it's well established, that Kanye West has significant mental health struggles. It's known that he has bipolar disorder, which can cause erratic behavior when it's not being managed. One only needs to look at pretty much every other aspect of his life to see the effect it has on him. Social media posts, his interviews, he talks about the mother of his children, her family, other artists, things happening in the news. It is clear that this man, Kanye West, he needs help. He does. And bipolar disorder is not uncommon. Many, many people live with it, and they manage it through therapy, medication. It's a hard one. It's a hard one to have. And we should have compassion in our hearts for Kanye West. As a man who needs medical attention, he is having a severe medical problem, and it seems like he is not being offered medical attention, or he cannot or will not accept it. We should have compassion in our hearts for Kanye's family, for his children who did not choose this spotlight, who did not choose to have a father who acts like this. They did not choose this legacy, and every child deserves to have parents who are healthy and stable. We should have compassion for Kanye as a child of the same God, a God whose love and compassionate are infinite, who snapped at the angels for singing when the Egyptians drowned in the Sea of Reeds. God said, those are my children dying. You're celebrating? God still grieved the loss of divine children, even though their actions and choices regarding the Israelites, our ancestors, grievously disappointed God so. And like God, we can feel bad for Kanye, for his family, while also knowing how deeply dangerous his words are, and how important it is that people stand up to him. How important it is that his anti-Semitic tirades be squelched. Social media is a beautiful thing. We can communicate across continents. It's amazing. But you can't yell fire in a crowded theater, because people may trample each other trying to get out. People may die solely because of your words, your inaccurate words. And that's the line. That's where we draw the line. Incitement. Jewish law actually mandates this in its way. You are responsible for potential danger that you may cause. If you build a house with a rooftop patio space in ancient times, this was very common. You basically had a second floor. You could store things up there, that kind of a deal. If you have a roof, Jewish law says you have to build a short a parapet, a balustrade, a kind of a short, low, protective wall around the edge of your rooftop. Jewish law says you must do this. Because, according to our law, if you don't, and someone falls off your roof, gets hurt, or dies, you're responsible. Jewish law says you are not allowed to throw up your hands and go, I didn't do anything. No, you built the house, you built the roof, and you are responsible for something of yours that hurts others, even if it's not your intention. Raven Schwam Curtis, a black Jewish artist, said, yes, black people can be Jewish, I'm living proof of that, but your blackness does not cancel out your anti-Semitism. Shechina Larks, a coordinator for Bechol Lashon, an amazing Jewish organization that advocates for all Jews of color, said, this black people are the real Jews narrative needs to stop. It's harmful, it's not true, it's historical erasure. She continued, it's gotten to the point where people are starting to threaten bodily harm or to do acts of violence surrounding this narrative. Kanye West's words could translate into someone else's violent actions, and the world can and should feel bad for him and his family, while still taking preventative actions to protect the people his words potentially could harm. However, there is heartening news. David Badiel, the author of Jews Don't Count, pointed out that Kanye's tweet was standard in that he clearly saw himself as not being racist, but punching up. as people often do attacking Jews with talk of global agendas, trying to control, etc., etc. But he added the dial is shifting a bit. Many people, including Black Twitter, weighed in against him in a way that is more reactive against anti-Semitism than perhaps used to be the case. And this is true. Celebrities all over are coming out against anti-Semitism and against these particular words of his. Jamie Lee Curtis told Hoda Kotb, "It is bad enough that fascism is on the rise around the world, but on Twitter, on a portal to pour that in, as if Jewish people haven't had it hard enough." Jamie knows. Maria Shriver tweeted, "We all need to get onto it. These kinds of threats and that kind of language, they need to be condemned by all sides and faiths. We should never get over something like this," she said. That's what we have to do. Whenever there is hate in the world, hate that can incite violence against any kind of minorities, it is up to those who are unaffected more than anyone else to stand up and say no, because words are powerful. And the word no is powerful. To say, this is not who we are, this language, this wrongly held belief is unacceptable. Those words are the tools that will fix the brokenness that hate causes. In Judaism, we believe that God created the whole world through speaking words, and we will maintain the world the same exact way. Shabbat Shalom.